episode of MC2MC, man. We got a special episode, man.
Yes,
Going on here. We got Terrance in the building.
Hey, what's going on?
Do I call you Terrance Edward or is it Terrance Simpson?
No, I'm just Terrance Simpson. Clarence Edward is Clarence. That's my
Okay,
brother name.
okay.
That's his middle name.
Okay, that's the middle
so
name.
I guess
Okay,
we
okay.
kinda say like our whole name because my people call me T Simp or T Simpson or PSVT, and they call him Clarence Edward, but it's Terrance and Clarence Simpson. You know.
Okay, but PSVT though.
Yeah, that's
PSVT,
yeah.
And that's plus sign vibes.
Yes, sir.
Plus sign
Yes,
vibes,
sir.
man.
Yes,
Plus
sir.
sign vibes in the building.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So yeah, let's hop right into it, man. I'm excited. I got, you know what I'm saying. I mentioned you briefly. I know in the other episode, but it's not about him. This is about you today.
Yeah,
so
for
you know
sure,
what I'm saying.
Sure.
I wanna kind of break down how plus sign vibes came about because I know I was there a little bit ago last year, and there was like a poetry night you were through.
You caught poetry
Yeah,
night.
I caught the poetry night. I know like Zan was there. Shouts out Zan, Debris of Love.
Yeah.
Then I think you know the homie of mine, Black Essence.
Yeah.
She does like poetry and stuff too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But yeah, I came through on that night. But when I was there, I was like, oh man, this is like, it's a cool, you know, environment. It's like, you know, very like, you know, small, like very like, you know, intimate kind of environment, you know. So
that was the goal.
So I want to hear kind of how that came into play because I know, you know, Clarence was saying that CE was like in February, but you was a little bit before. So how did that kind of go with you getting, you know, PSV set up?
Man, it's crazy because PSV actually came about in 2015.
Okay.
From me making music and mentoring. But I think people got introduced to the PSV store as another entity of the brand. Around December of 2020, like middle of the pandemic. I don't know what I was thinking.
Dang, okay. So, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure. So it just I had to figure something out, man. It was, you know, I think everybody was kind of going through like the COVID thing, and quarantine, and then stuck in the house. And during quarantine, obviously I lost my jobs due to COVID. And then after that, throughout the summer, I was like, man, what I'm gonna do? And I ended up buying a canoe, bro.
A canoe?
Yeah. I ended up buying a canoe.
That's one way to go.
That's
one way to go into a canoe, though.
Man, I was bored, bro, and I just went to Bargain Hunt one day, and I saw this canoe, and I was like, man, we can't go inside anywhere, but we can definitely still go outside. You know what I'm saying? So I had bought the canoe, and I had called my friends up, and I had bought like fishing poles, a personal grill, like a hookah, like a portable speaker, and I just would go out and I would put it on Instagram, and then like people would be like, hey, I would love to come out there with you. Yeah. So then I'm like, the light bulb went off, and I was like, I'm gonna just sell this whole experience to people. You know what I mean? Just let them rent it out for the day. A lot of smart.
Okay,
That's smart. That's a whole other level of hustle.
Right. Appreciate it. So once I did that, it was. I felt like it was just finna pick up. Then it got cold, and I was like, damn. What you gonna do next? You know what I mean?
Feel that, how you bounce back from that?
Exactly. So then I had went out to LA. This was the last time I went out to LA, and I had went to the corner where Nipsey Hussle store was.
Crenshaw?
Yes, sir. Crenshaw
yeah.
Slauson. So I had went out there, and I had seen this dude at a vending table, and he was selling shirts with Nipsey Hussle face on them, but he wasn't affiliated with the store, the TMC store. So I had went up to him, and I was like, man, how are you able to sell these products with his likeliness on them, and you're not affiliated with the store? And he basically just said, like, man, I'm from the community. We all kind of grew up together. So then that's when the light bulb kind of went out for the store. And I was just like, legacy, you know what I mean? That just really represented legacy. Like, dang, he kind of feeding people who not even affiliated directly with him, you know what I'm saying? And that's when the light bulb went off. I had a friend who was in the 100 Taylor building already, and prior, like 6 months prior, he had moved in, and I had kind of like gassed him up to get a space, and he had actually done it to like do a podcast, ironically. And he gave me the number, the right people number. I made a call like on a Wednesday, and the owner didn't answer the phone, so I left a voicemail. Who leaves a voicemail? It's right? But I was like at the bar, and I was drunk, and I was just like super inspired, right? And I was like, what am I gonna do when I get back home? And he didn't answer that Thursday. I was waiting on the call, and he didn't call me back. And that Friday, I was headed back home, literally about to put my phone on airplane mode, and I got this call from this random number that wasn't so random. It actually been from the voicemail that I left. And he was like, yeah, when you get back, let me know. This was a Thursday, so that Friday, I was like, all right, I'll come that Friday. Friday came, I went, I seen the space, and man, I just scraped up every single dollar that I could find. It was just a wrap then when you saw it then. And I still didn't have the concept though, you know what I mean? It was just an idea. And then that weekend, I thought about the concept because I couldn't sleep, and then I just started thinking about all the different people who I knew who sold different products, and I had different friends that were artists of all sorts, and I was like, man, what if I could create a hub? You know what I'm saying? Because it was frustrating just being a native that you can't like find somebody just on a random day like, hey, you do digital graphic design, or you do engineering work, or you sell this. But I had always kind of been that bridge for people who, do you know somebody who do this or somebody who do that? So then that following Monday we like solidified everything. And
so it's kind of like you took it was kind of like a leap of faith or like a risk you basically took with it. You know what I'm saying? It was just it was like that feeling you had. But I feel like that's kind of like a testament, to anybody, trying to do something, because it's always like risk you got to take. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a sacrifice of risk. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know, like at that time, you don't know how I could have went, but it was like, it was something you like, man, all right, let me try to go for it. You know what I'm saying? Let me buckle in. You like, all right, and I think taking that risk probably had you kind of thinking that a different way. You're like, oh man, all right, I done hopped in this. Who do I know? Who can I get in on that? Thinking kind of like differently with it. Yeah,
that's exactly what I did. Man, PSV, man, passion plus sacrifice equals victories. That's literally it, right? Like I just was passionate about creating something. Yeah, PSV got a lot of me.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I was trying to figure out. Because I was like, I knew it was the plus sign vibe.
Yes, for sure.
So that one right there, I didn't know about the passion, sacrifice, and victory. That's hard too.
Yeah, it's more. I got more coming.
Is perseverance? Is that another one? Okay, all right. I was like, I just wanted to make sure, bro, because I was like, I done heard a few different meanings for it, and I was like, I didn't know which one was which. But okay, it's multiple meanings.
It's multiple meanings. Like I said originally, from starting from music, it just started off as plus sign vibes. I was mentoring and making music, and I needed a lifestyle brand to just kind of represent what I was standing for, because I had went to prison when I was 16. And I had came home when I was 20. So when I was mentoring, I wanted to like be able to relate to the kids and stuff that I was talking to, and let them know like, hey man, we can create different avenues from one thing, and that's kind of how Plus Sign Vibe started. But when the PSV store started is when my brother is crazy, because I called my brother once I had purchased the store. It wasn't a store, just 4 walls, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, bruh, he was in New York at the time. I was like, bruh, you need to get home. He's like, what you mean? I was like, I just bought a store. And he was like, what you talking about? So I like turned the camera around. He was like, I bet I'm on my way. And he came with like the next like 3 or 4 days.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. So hold up. That's crazy, because I was looking at his episode again the other day, so he didn't even mention that part. I don't think
for sure.
How that panned out. Okay, that's so that's good. Okay, that's crazy.
It was like it was like around Thanksgiving. It was in between like the beginning of November and like Thanksgiving. So like he had stepped in and helped me like create the aesthetic, because I mean like I'm inspired by my brother anyway, just his creative eye. I mean I always have been, and I was just like,
I got some stuff. I'm saying that. He was bringing up. I remember on when he was here on the episode, he was talking about the clothes. He was talking about back when y'all was younger. Oh, yeah. He would get like certain clothes. He would be taking his clothes.
Oh man, I went like best dressed off his clothes in like 8th grade, because he was in high school. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy,
and I was in
man.
middle school, so I would like steal his clothes. And I think he went to school before me, so I could raid his closet.
Nice.
And some kind of way I would make it home before him, so I could put him back. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And one day he just like called me. He came like straight home from high school. I was like, dang it. And then from there he like went straight Kanye polos.
Yeah, right.
I'm
That's
like,
what
bro,
he
what I'm
said.
gonna do with this, bro? I can't rock
exactly
this. I didn't know how.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened. That's how he ended up here, just helping me like with the aesthetics of building a store. And man, we just kept it rolling. But I did, like you said, bro. It was literally a leap of faith.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's interesting how that all panned in, because when I look at PSV store and I look at CE, it's kind of almost like it's that same kind of environment where it's a place where creatives can come or like artists can come, but then it's like I feel like there's a difference. Like I say with the PSV store, it's like that more intimate kind of like closed space kind of vibe, and then CE's kind of like this kind of alternate like bigger space, but. It seemed like just creatively how y'all doing it, bringing it together to the scene. It's still like these hubs where to bring people together. That's like the ultimate mission.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It wasn't something that we like planned out to the T or anything like that, man. I think we both just passionate people, and just coming from like humble beginnings, we always had to like figure it out, make a way. We always had like limited resources on stuff, so like we would like throw parties and stuff like in high school, but then we would just like text the people that we knew, and we knew that it would kind of just spread how it was supposed to. So I think that was the unintentionally kind of like the same kind of game plan. But it
felt kind of spiritual too. I feel like because I was reading in the article. There was an article you had in your bio.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I read through it, and it was saying like you were saying with the humble beginnings. It was kind of like I know y'all said it was a single parent household,
for sure.
And it was limited resources. Yeah. So y'all whole thing was like. Man, screw other people, brands and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we could afford. So we're going to go out here and do our own thing and stuff, man. So is that like kind of what has shaped a lot of like the, adventures and things y'all going out, that mentality of that like, man, you know what? Just creating it, getting it out the mud, man. Like creating something new, creating something fresh from our perspective, you know?
Yeah, that was exactly what the thought process was behind it. Just because, it's kind of like, you got like these quote unquote gatekeepers and stuff of Nashville's, and it's like my brother, he didn't go to like TS, he didn't go to college here, you know what I mean? And when he was in college, I was in prison, so I came home and I didn't go to college, so I didn't have like a big following based off of certain things, and he didn't have like a big local following based off of certain things as well. But we kind of just like always just been unapologetically us, and it kind of just worked for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think that played a major part in it for sure.
Interesting.
Creativity through limitations. I feel
that's
like
always
is
the best
always
way,
it's always the best way.
Oh yeah. Because it's you don't have to mimic anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't really do it wrong. You
No.
know what I'm saying? And then I think was just doing it strictly from the heart and just from the mind and just creativity. It gave us the opportunity to like paint the canvas how we wanted it to paint it, not how we thought it should have been or how we had seen it painted before. You know what I mean? So, and that was just that's kind of spiritual within itself, because we it's not like we have like a art background like our parents or anything like that. I think it's just like trying to figure out how could we build Dexter's Laboratory like at 5 and 6 years old, in a 2-3 bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just kind of it was that, and we just moved off of it.
Interesting. So I want to talk about kind of like the certain type of events that go on in PSV, because I know there's like the poetry night, but then I know there I saw artists performing and stuff too. But then I saw that sometimes you had like vendors and stuff come through too. Oh, yeah. Actually, all 3 of those things was going on at that time. I was at the same time. There was people selling clothes right out, right outside the door. Then there was the poetry night going on. Then there was artists performing. So like, is that kind of always going on at the same time, and there'd be like certain nights where it's dedicated to certain other things?
Certain nights. So PSV, Peer Support Victories, the PSV stuff. So it's like, all right, if I'm an artist, if I'm a performing artist, and I got a friend who has a clothing line, and I'm performing, I might not have merch, but he got a clothing line. So why not, invite my friend to come, make him some money and put his brand on. So if you do that times X, whatever the case may be, then we all get a chance to win. So that was always the thought process behind it. So with the events, they actually just vary because I host certain events personally, like poetry night will be something I do, like live R&B. I personally do a event called The Fellas, where just men come out. Certain
I
events
saw
like that.
Was that recent? I think I saw Shea Butter Shot on there. Shea Butter Shot again, bro.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Man.
Good dude.
I saw. Is that what that was?
Mm-hmm.
It was like
exactly
a panel, like a speaking
exactly.
panel. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been to a couple of his panels outside of that. Yeah, man. He be saying some real shit, man. He be saying some real shit.
Man, that's a good dude. So yeah, that's how the events kind of come about. But each wall vendor that purchase a space on the wall, they get the opportunity to host a 4-hour event, right? So that kind of just takes the pressure off of me to try to find all of these different people to like make this event as good, as great as it could be. So it's like if you invest in the store, invest in your brand to be in the store. Now you invested, so now you know I got 30 days to come up to be a part of all of these different events, and then I have the opportunity to have my 4-hour event. And my thing is like, man, use your creativity. Whether you do a ticketed event, and then you got a poet performing, you got a music artist performing, and then you want to have your homie come through and he may be selling merch. You know what I'm saying? Like magnify. You know what I mean? Magnify that 4 hours, because like I don't want it to seem like a one-sided deal.
Yeah,
you know
it's kind of like everybody putting their hand in the pot together, collectively, man.
And everybody can win.
Win that way. Nah, that's cool, man. That's like
PSV.
That's a cool philosophy to it, man. Because like we need more stuff like that in Nashville, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I say, because like you know, my childhood was here, like in Nashville, so it's like you know, I went to Jolton Elementary.
Oh yeah,
but
sure.
you know what I'm saying, I grew up like right off of like Trinity Lane, but like Haynes Middle School and stuff. So you know what I'm saying, and I left and went to Dallas for years. Then coming back like a few years ago, just I feel like it's kind of like a blessing, because it's like leaving the city and then coming back and seeing it in like a different light.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying, seeing it
sure.
in a different light, and just being able to kind of be like, all right, well, okay, this is where the city is, like. What can be interjected in it now? Like that's why I enjoy the podcast, man. It's like this, you know what I'm saying? You get people on, you know what I'm saying, to share what's going on in the community, man, and I feel like it brings people together, and it put like a spotlight, you know what I'm saying, what's going on in the city, man. So it's just kind of like, it's cool to see other people like playing a part in that as well, man. Trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, bring it all together, man. You know,
we all like buildings to the skyline. You this new skyline, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like New Nashville, man. New Nashville.
So it's like what could we contribute as individuals? You know what I mean? Because like we part of the culture, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when people come here from out of town and they see this podcast, or they hear about my store, or they hear about my brother gallery, it's like these are things that people can see, that are tangible, that they can get information from, that they can get. It's almost like it can turn into an itinerary. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
and it's worthwhile too.
Exactly,
like it's dope stuff. It's not just like random stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a blessing to be able to you know, just play my position in what's going on in Nashville, and it's way more than I ever would have expected. You know what I'm saying? But now I know it's a duty. You know what I mean?
It's like a duty, man. I bring that up all the time, man. I talk about like the peers. You know what I'm saying? Like your peers in the community, man, out here, because it's, you know, a lot of people, we got to start looking at it more that way. Like a lot of the creatives and stuff here, man. It's like, nah, man, that person, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my peer. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you really want the scene to go somewhere, because I say it's like a renaissance going on here. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, we got to hold each other accountable, man, and, you know, really be there, see what's going on, tapping in. Because at the end of the day, you know, us doing something or the next person doing something, that's that inspiration that pushed the scene forward, man. So I'm always tapping in, bro, tapping in with it.
For sure. And we get to open the door for each other, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's a renaissance happening here in Nashville. So all it's gonna take is that one thing, or that one person, or that one entity where outside of the country music and all of that stuff, right? For them to see, and like when they open up y'all, when the right person see y'all podcast and go all the way through they're gonna be like, oh, I can find this artist, I can find this curator. This is in Nashville, and then they come in here and now they have like direction. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's kind of what it's about, man. Like, you know, we know where we are. We know it's not like a lot of views and stuff now, but it's like it's still documented. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So when it is a time, like you saying, people, they can go back and be like, oh man, I know that. I know all this going on, man.
This person, and that's like, I feel like a lot of and maybe I may be wrong, but a lot of other major cities. I mean, and I haven't lived in them, but I feel like just from the outside looking in, I think that's what like, you know, catapulted the culture in certain places. It's like one person opened that door, or maybe didn't even know they was opening the door. You know what I mean? With just doing their duty, so to speak. And from there, they got that recognition, and it's a floodgate, and that's what I think. That's what I know is gonna happen here in Nashville. You know, for outside of the culture, the creatives, the natives, or just people who are really inside of the culture, not just like kind of looking at it from a tourist perspective. So it's like, man, be ready. You know what I'm saying? We got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to already be ready. So that's my whole thing, man, for sure.
So I'm curious, kind of like with the. So I know he was saying, Clarence was saying like getting out to like Antioch. Yeah. Like, so I'm curious, like with PSV, do you plan to kind of like expand out with like certain other areas or like certain other kind of like locations, events with that? Like, what's the plan with it?
That's a good question, bro. I actually, something just came across my table. I won't speak too soon about it. But it's cool. And initially I was thinking like, where would be a good place to put it in Nashville? You know, another good place. But I'm like, I'm in Germantown.
Germantown is a good spot. That's a great spot to be like, you know what I'm saying, starting off and doing it there. No, that's great.
That's great. I'm like, where would be a great fit for it? A couple of people asked me about like Antioch, but it's just trying to find like that right location that I can recreate, not even recreate the aesthetic, but like kind of just
the same vibe.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely plan to expand. I know I'll definitely go to other major markets, Atlanta, Houston, stuff like that. And you know, we'll get to the point where we can franchise once I start getting this real money coming in with it, talking to the right people. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate like opportunities like this because it gives people the opportunity to understand the backstory of how this started. And this was like pure passion, dog. Like wiped out my whole 401k to design the store.
See, that's that. Hey man,
that's that real risk taking stuff.
Take risk.
Yeah, for sure.
Take risk.
It pays off, bro. Yeah. It pays off, especially when you're doing it from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was nothing. It wasn't like some strategic that I had been planning for years. Like, bro, this was like a 30-day thing. Like, from the idea to the opening was like roughly 45 days, you know, and I didn't even know what I was signing up for. Oh man, bro, I didn't know what I was signing up for, but I'm super appreciative because it gave me the opportunity to meet another version of myself that I always knew was inside of me. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, take it back a little bit. All right, so when you got, because I do want to ask, so when you first got it, like that 30 days, 45 days, what was like that first event that came together, like that first one? You're like, oh, okay, man, maybe all right, we got something going with this. Maybe something can go.
First event, the first event, we had the soft opening. Well, a day before we had the soft opening, this guy by the name of Malcolm, he owns a brand called Jesus Was Black. And he's based out of Atlanta, and he's kind of plugged into the city. He had stayed here, and he had a brief pop-up, like 2 or 3 hour pop-up with just exclusive pieces. And he was just like kind of, and I actually missed the event, but it was like, this person came. And I was like, okay, but it didn't register because I wasn't there. So like 2 or 3 days later, we had the soft opening, and bruh, it was like crazy. But I think the thing was, people had already kind of been championed, like me personally, just throughout my journey of coming home from being incarcerated and like never going back. It's like, bro, don't clap for me because I ain't going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was never going back. I didn't even have to be in there that long. So I think like people kind of was just happy to finally see me
like rise from that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because like people, I would run across people, you know, I work, and then you go out, you hang out, and you see people from the past, and they be like, oh, I'm proud of you, I ain't seen you. But then to have a place that's like actual, it's like my house was public. You know what I'm saying? To a degree of my thoughts was public, and it was a place where people can come and meet people that they haven't met. So that first event kind of showed me, which was the soft opening the day after Thanksgiving of 2020. Well, 2 days after Thanksgiving, because Black Friday. The next day after that. that's when I was like, it was overwhelming, bro.
Yeah.
I cried.
I was about to say, man, you had to cry some tears.
I
was just about to say that. Yeah.
I actually cried before the event.
Yeah.
Because I had spent like every single day like building, going back and forth to Lowe's. It's just building and like, I don't know. I was just on this. It was like real tunnel vision. So like when I was like finally done, and it was like people was like, "Yeah, I'm excited to come," because I had like posted the South Open flyer like 2 or 3 days before. So I was like, "All right, let me. If I could get 20 or 30 people here, cool." It's like hundreds, bro. It was like, wow. I was like, what? So it was a blessing.
That's a good surprise to have.
Yeah. So like I cried before, bro. I cried before because it was like everything else was extra after that. After everything I had been through. So to just see that through, it was like, man, I was just super happy.
Man, that's insane.
No, for sure.
So hundreds of people came out. That
like in and out, like the first one.
Because that's like, it's a small area, so I know that must have to be packed in
the hallway. It was and just like coming in and out, and you know people, because it was the South opening, so I was still like putting different touches on it or whatever. So people would come in, and I learned a lot that first event too, just about seating and stuff like that. But yeah, people were just kind of just coming in and out, showing their support, and then I did the grand opening like maybe a month after, like December 20th, right before Christmas, and then that was like the building owner called me that day.
Really?
Because it's during COVID. You gotta think it's during. It's like Terrance,
right.
like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, and then eventually, like now they love it. You know what I'm saying? But they just didn't understand
at the time. I could get that. I could get that. It was like, oh man, okay, hold up, man.
Like we don't, because they was basically like we aren't, as the building, we aren't responsible for anybody getting COVID and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, have people have their mask on, checking people's temperatures at the grand opening. It was crazy. I outgrew that space ASAP, bro. And that's what made me expand. Yeah.
So like I kind of want to get a little more detail with the event. Sure. So like when you're throwing certain type of events, like I know you said there's different kinds, but like how's like your curation process go and stuff when you are putting some of these events together? Like, what are you thinking when you're like, all right, man, I want to get this certain person or this or this? Like, what's kind of going through your head? Is there like a team that's kind of like helping and stuff when you're doing it? Is like how you go about it?
Man, it's a I'm nuts. All right, so like I have a vision in my head, and I'll tell like my team, but I'm only 1 in 10.
Yeah.
I only think 1 in 10. I don't think the 2 through 9, right? So I'm not thinking these chairs should be here. We should do this, and a lot of that 2 through 9, I really give to like the because my team really pretty much it does consist of women. They just see details. You know, just that
that's true.
Touch,
that's very true.
Touch, so like, Terrance, we can have a performance, but why would you have them here when more people could sit right here and see them from here? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So like, I just be like
a bunch of ears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's just like, let me execute my part of the vision, and as we going, add the details for me. You know what I'm saying? So like my mind kind of just be racing, and then a lot of it comes from when I meet people and it's just a genuine connection, and I like whatever they have going on, or friends that I have from the past who have been having different things going on. It just gives me an opportunity to like share the platform, and that always kind of makes it easier for me to curate, because now we get to collab and we get to like exchange what our visions are, and then make it come into fruition. So it's definitely a process, and I'm last minute too. Like my brother, like he's such an asshole. He's so detailed. He like so detailed. He like Terrance, this, that, and third. And I'm like, bro, it's gonna get taken care of. Don't worry about it. So we like it's just
interesting.
Like
so it's kind of like with you. It's just kind of more free form together as it go. Then I could tell like Clarence, he real like it's gonna be
he like drill sergeant.
He real like analytical with it and stuff. But you kind of like, nah, man, just kind of let it flow, let the good vibes come in, man. It's gonna take care of itself, man. It's gonna take care of itself.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we had, now that I think about it, when we had this one crazy house party, this like in high school, and he like, Terrance, we should have a house party because my mama, she was like out of town for like the weekend, and I was like, hell no, she gonna think that was me. She is not gonna think us because I'm the middle child.
Yeah, okay.
It's 3 of us total, and he was like, nah, we gonna get this person to do this. We gonna go get the speakers from my auntie. We gonna go do this. And I'm like, all right, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
You say, whatever, big bro.
Like, yeah, exactly. So I think it's kind of that, but we get the opportunity to do it separately in our own spaces. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool.
So y'all kind of always done had that there, like that creating in the parties and, you know what I'm saying, the events and stuff. That's kind of always been a thing.
Yeah.
Growing up.
When he would come home from like college and stuff like that, or when he lived in Memphis or he lived in Atlanta, he would come home from the holidays, and I would kind of move through the city, just you know, kind of hanging out, different stuff was going on, and I would just like find venues and stuff, and I'd be like, hey, bro, like you coming home? Like, you want to like throw a party or something? Yeah. Like, you want to see who's gonna come out and just kick it with us? And so it kind of just gradually grew
over
into
time.
Yeah, for sure.
So were there like so I know you were saying he was in like Atlanta, New York, all that. So were there like other areas that you were in, kind of where you like soaked up certain game and knowledge and stuff before you like actually got the PSV store going? Like,
no, bro, ironically, no. It's crazy because I traveled a lot. My first time traveling, I was on a prison bus. Like my first time maybe out of Nashville, and I told myself then, like, when I get out of here, like I don't care what happened. I'm gonna go see some stuff because it's my first time seeing mountains and stuff like that, right? And when I came home, I would just go different places randomly: New York, Houston, New Orleans. And then my brother he lived in Memphis and he lived in Atlanta. Yeah. Then we moved to New York, so I would just take full advantage of that, going back and forth. So like when I needed like inspiration, I'm like knocking on his door. He's like, "Bro, what you doing here in New York? Like, what you doing here?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm just here for the weekend. Never mind me. I'm just gonna put my clothes on, finna get up out of here and go find some inspiration." So I think a lot of traveling kind of opened me up to it, but I never like resided in another city like he did. But if he did it, I was there in spirit, so it worked out anyway. You know
so that's interesting. So it's still kind of like some of the same areas you did hit. So it's like when you did go there when you were visiting, what was like some of the inspiration that you would get from like your perspective when you was in those places?
Man, it was different places just sparked different inspiration. Honestly, like going back and forth to New York and just like walking because there was one point he lived in Harlem, and I'm like walking down 145th and Lenox, and I'm like, this what Dipset was talking about. You can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I shout out camera.
Right. Yeah. Or just like going to New Orleans and seeing how Katrina affected them, and it's like one house that's like completely rebuilt, and then it's another house where you can see like the lines from where the water was, and I was like, damn, like this obviously the flood in Nashville, right? So it kind of just made me think about these things. And I would just like pull inspiration from different places, man, no matter wherever I went. But I couldn't sit still. I couldn't sit still because I was confined for so long. Well, it was 4.5, 5 years. That's long. That's long.
That's a long time, man.
Right?
That's a long time.
My mind, my imagination, I was still young, so I still had an imagination. So when I got the opportunity, friend, like, hey, we going to Panama for spring break. Man, I don't care about work, nothing. I was like, what? Like, we calling out. $120 in my pocket, 22, 23, we out of here, you know. It's like, dang, like we could go on the beach, like you know what I'm saying. We could sit out here all day and drink, you know, and just kick
those kind of things.
Those like things like that gave me inspiration for sure.
So I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I know you,
man.
You know
I'm raw, man. You can ask anything you want, anything. That's what I'm here for.
You know what I'm saying? I know you mentioned it a few times with like the prison and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how it happened or whatever it is, but like you know. When you were in there, because it was 4 years. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I know that had to be something mentally where you were like, yo, when I come out, you know what I'm saying? I want to do something different from this or like go from that. Because you were saying you were doing mentoring and stuff too.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Like, just the 4 years in the box, man, like, what were some of those things kind of going through your head or like, you know what I'm saying? Where was your mind at mentally where you was like, man, when I get out with this, man, where I want to go? Like, where are you thinking?
Man, that's a great question, bro. And I don't talk about it enough. So like, that's why that's why, like, man, I want to be on your podcast because a lot of people don't know the backstory, like my personal backstory. So they only met like certain versions of PSV, whether it was music, whether they met the PSV, the store actually, but like, it stems before that. So like in prison, I was 16, bro. Could you imagine, right? You been 16.
Man, I was playing video games and shit, man.
And then
That's
the next
crazy.
day, you got to be a grown man.
Yeah.
And you got to face like grown man problems like forever after that. You know what I mean? So I like had to grow up overnight. But that's literally like what shaped me into the person that I became. So like I have no shame in like telling my story because it's glory in my story. Like had I not went through that, I wouldn't be sitting here today. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I know telling what I would be.
Yeah.
I probably would have like went to college, flunked out because I played football. I definitely would have went D1. So like when I went, so let me answer the question. In prison, when I got there, it let me know how 15 seconds of yes or no could like literally change the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And I had time to like figure myself out because I was only 16. So like naturally, like you say, you was playing video games, right? So at 16 you playing video games, but at 18 you was probably applying for colleges. You know what I mean? In my case, I was watching friends that I was just hanging out with and we was just playing football with. They going to D1 schools and I'm watching them in prison on TV.
Damn.
And I'm like, bro, like, nah, when I get out of here, I gotta, you know what I mean? Like, do something to like make myself like, you know, pat myself on the back, give myself a chance. You know what I'm saying? And that was my whole thing. And I had the opportunity to grow up in the system physically and mentally. So I had so many different older people who didn't have the chances that I was about to get again. They would like just pour into me, and that was the first time I had ever heard like people affirm to me like, man, you different, bro. Like you ain't supposed to be here. Matter of fact, when you get out of here, you're gonna be good. Just like, oh, do it for me or do it for like my son who think what I'm doing is cool. You know, so like a lot of people took me under their wing and they really just saw something in me, and in return, it made me start believing those things in me.
So the people. So it's kind of like it sounded like you kind of had like mentorship. Kind of you was getting mentorship.
It was college.
Kind of like in that.
So it was college.
Having those people when you were in there, you know, talk to you in that way and like affirm to you like, yo, man, like you can be this or you can do something different. Is that kind of what brought you into the mentoring when you got out? Kind of some of those people.
That's crazy, bro. I never put that together like that until you just said that, believe that or not. Yes, bro, yes. And that made me think about this one particular time because I got tried as an adult, right? So I'm 16, but I'm in jail. Yeah. And by the time I'm 18, 19, I'm going to like prison. Like people got life and 30 years and stuff like that, right? And when I had turned 18, because now guards and COs, they watching us grow up. So they see which ones like, oh, he a knucklehead, but you ain't that bad. So you know what I mean? But they because like they talking to us like grown men because we in jail, we facing grown man situations. So it's like you can kind. I just understood it. And one particular thing when you say mentoring, and then I never related this to now, bro. But it was this one CEO. His name was Sergeant McCutcheon. He pulled me out of the pod when I had turned 18, and he was like, look, man, I want you to go talk to these kids. Their parents brung them up here, and if they don't go through this, if this don't scare them, I don't know what will. And that was like my first introduction. It's crazy. I'm just
that's
thinking
like some
about this.
Beyond Scared Straight shit or some shit that happened or some shit.
Yeah. But I was around that age. Yeah. So while they thinking, you know, these just peer pressure was cool and like you could kind of just like, you know, lollygag and skip through. It's like, no, bro, on the other end of that, I am the consequence.
Especially at that age. I mean, that's like a immediate like relatability.
Exactly. So they like, what? Like,
that's crazy.
You facing a life sentence? Like, what? You was like, you was like playing varsity, you know what I'm saying, as a freshman, like what you was, you know what I'm saying? So they got the opportunity to like, or they got the opportunity to see the other side of it. So that was my introduction to like mentoring, and then like you said, by people pouring into me, when I was in there, it just gave me that confidence to know like, hey, like my voice means something just like everybody else's, and if I can save some 15 or 16-year-old like when I'm 20, why not do it? So yeah, it kind of definitely played a part for sure. Yeah,
I feel like subconsciously that kind of play into the store too, because it's kind of like it's like a hub, where it's like it's kind of almost like a teaching experience when you go in there, where you know what I'm saying, like, nah, this is what you can do. You know, when you put your mind to something, when everybody comes together with their ideas, like there's another option. There's like another way, man. So no, that's a beautiful thing, man.
I sit in my rocking chair. I got a rocking chair at the store. It's crazy. And I'll be sitting there and people be like, well, I got this. I didn't. I'll be like, do that shit. Like, what you need? Let's put it on the calendar. Let's create a flyer. Like, oh, I don't have a logo. Don't worry. Here go my friend. He a graphic designer.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I don't have a videographer. Don't worry. I got a videographer here around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we can, it definitely played a part. It's like, man, yes. So that's my thing, man. I just want my peers to like believe that like I support their victories. Have
you seen Black Godfather?
I haven't seen
that. Check that, man. Clarence Avant. It's funny his name Clarence Avant, but Clarence Avant, man, that whole film, I think you would dig that, because that's kind of like the same thing. He had that mentality of like, yo, I got this, man. If you need this, I got the plug with this, man. If you trying to do this, you know what I'm saying, like. And it's just really like it's a beautiful film, man. Just like
Godfather.
Black Godfather.
Okay,
it's on Netflix.
Oh,
check it. Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
But it's that same thing, bro. Like just being that pillar in the community, or being that like the father figure, or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? A mentor to people, man, and like helping them get to that next level, man, giving them that helping hand, man.
Yeah.
So
we don't take nothing. I don't lose anything by helping anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I literally see it like that. Like, why not? Like, why withhold the knowledge that I have? Like, what's the point of getting the knowledge if I'm gonna withhold it? It's like a teacher becoming a teacher but not teaching. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what you even doing this for?
Yeah, just to hand out packets of worksheets.
Man, one of my mentors told me, man. He told me, there's a quote that kind of stuck with me. He was like, yo, when you help others, man, you helping yourself, whether you realize it or not.
I'm a year and 2 or 3 months in, and it's literally because, and I don't even be realizing it, because it just be from the heart. So I don't even be thinking like, oh, I'm helping somebody, you know. But like consistently, like that's what has continued to make the store continue to run. Like just being a helping hand, and I feel like if I would have had a PSV store at 16 that I could go to, and I could chill, and I could meet somebody who has possibly gone through what I have the chance to avoid, then I would have. It was more than likely that I could have avoided it. But I had to go through it to get to this side of it. But yeah, man, it's like, why not? Like literally, because we go alone. We can go fast. We want to go far. We go together. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go far together, bro. Like it's so much power in numbers, and that just goes back to like the Renaissance, right? Like what does it look like if it's just one person at the top of the mountain say, yeah, I did it.
Man,
exactly.
But like, what if all of us are mountains? You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, bro, because then everybody behind us, I don't have to go up this mountain because I can go up that mountain. You know what I mean?
Got a whole terrain to explore,
bro,
man.
Exactly, bro.
It's a whole thing.
That's the way I see it for sure.
Man, bro. This has been a good one too, man. It's a good one, man. Just kind of, I guess we're kind of like on some closing thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because with this season, I've been saying like we kind of want to make it, kind of educational. For you know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, so someone kind of going down this same path, or someone looking to create something in the community, maybe something where it's like they do want to bring something together, bring people together, man. Like, what would be like some of your words of advice, to someone trying to go down this path?
Oh, that's a great question. One is business, it's not personal. 2, originality can't be recreated. You know what I mean? Like, and if you do it from the heart, the universe gonna know. The people may not know, but the universe, God, the higher power, whatever you believe in, it knows that you put in that work behind those closed doors. And as long as you don't get like jaded by the industry that you in, or the trials that come along with whatever you building, then you got just keeping your head down, like you gonna get rewarded on the other end of that. So that's what I would tell anybody.
That's crazy, man. I had that same talk with one of my homies. There's a lot of things that you saying I'm resonating with, because he was saying that same thing to me the other day. He was just like, yeah, man, you know, keep doing what you doing, man. He was like, yo, man, like, God, the universe, they see it. They see the positivity, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna bless you when you trying to do good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if your heart pure.
Yeah, your heart pure.
And you doing it, your intentions right. That's the laws of the land. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what you give is what you get. You know what I'm saying? So that's an even swap of energy. That's commerce. You know what I'm saying? That's a give and take thing. And I think literally, like, just like believing, like faith, bro. Faith, literally.
Take a risk, right?
Faith, bro. Because can't nobody see your vision, like, regardless. Like, and that's what helping people does, right? Like, if I help people along the journey of building my vision, then they gonna want to help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's an even swap again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the biggest thing that I could tell people. Like, man, just like go for it. Like, because I'd rather fail from trying than not trying at all, and sitting there and I'm down on myself and not believing in myself because I didn't believe in myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know what I mean? So that'd be my biggest thing to tell people, for sure.
All right, cool. Well, all right, well, kind of on a final closing thought, man. With the PSV store, man, is there anything, you know, coming up, future plan? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to go too deep, you know what I'm saying, but, you know, you just want to let the community know coming up, or like where things are headed coming this year, 2022, man.
So much, man. This year, PSV. The PSV store, we're gonna do more expanding. I'm definitely got some plans of just remodeling and taking the aesthetic up another level, for sure. And just be on the lookout for me, like, getting back into like music and philanthropy work and public speaking. That's like, that's really the part of the brand that I want to highlight this year. I want to like get more in front of stuff like this, so people can get the backstory, so they don't just think like, oh, I found a space, I can do a PSV did, or I can do, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, let's talk about like how we got here, so we reasons, can we can resonate with each other, and then like, oh, okay, I might inspire you to go build 1,000 tiny houses or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of stuff coming for the PSV store, man. We got a lot of stuff coming up in February. A whole lot of stuff. A whole lot more merch. I'm getting more into that, as you can see.
I'm gonna have to cop a piece of that.
For sure. So it'll be more merch. It'll be more performances. There'll be more of me. Yeah, it'll be more of me as well. I vowed to get that to myself this year. Last year I kind of just shared the platform, and was so selfless that I was selfish to myself. So this year you'll see a whole lot more of me, and like being in front of the brand, and just pushing it further, bro. We're gonna push it a whole lot further this year. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Well, this has been a good one, man. I appreciate you coming through, brother,
sure,
man.
Bro.
Appreciate
one of my favorites.
Man. Yeah, bro.
For sure, bro.
This is one of my favorite episodes, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all. This has been another week of MC to MC, man. This is a good one, man. Hey, as you do, superb, man.
Ohtom.
Hey,
PSVT,
man. Hey, we out, man. We gonna catch y'all next week. Peace.